Hello everyone and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. Today is King Charles' 77th birthday. So today's theme, we're going to be looking at some Scorpios in the royal family. Firstly, of course, the king himself. We're going to do a birthday reading for him. I normally do a 12-card tarot reading based on the 12 houses of the zodiac for occasions like this. I'm going to tweak it a bit today and just do it slightly differently, but it's self-explanatory, nothing too strange, hopefully. And let's see how he's doing. We're going to get a signifier for the year. We are going to ask about his public profile, how he's doing with the public. This is for the year ahead, next 12 months. We're going to ask about siblings, Andrew. We're going to ask about children, William and Harry. We're going to ask about health and mortality. That would be the 6th house and the 8th house. We're going to ask about marriage, which would be the 7th house, and the monarchy, his role as king, which would be the 10th house. So, but we're going to just read it, not in the circle that I normally do. We're going to do it a little bit differently. But that's what we're going to look at today. These cards are flying. There's the King of Cups. That is King Charles over here. He's showing himself already here in this tarot reading. So I think we're good to go. We, of course, need to say this is just tarot. One more shuffle, apparently. So let's do it. Tarot, fun and entertainment. It is, of course, all my opinion, all speculation. Just read energy here and disclaimer in the box below. And no dirty paws today on my clothes, hopefully. You never know. We've got a bit of an arts and crafts situation going on in the house at the moment. We have family from overseas, and so the arts and crafts thing is in full swing. But anyway, we're looking at the royal household now. The king himself. Happy birthday, King Charles. And let's see what's going on. There we go. We're not going to do, well, let's look at underlying. Oh dear. Why did I look at the underlying card? Ah dear, that's the Hierophant. It's in reverse. Hierophant is, of course, the monarch, head of church and state. That's in reverse. This could be quite a tricky year coming up for the king. I've seen that in previous readings, and the Hierophant showing up as our underlying energy. Doesn't bode well. But anyway, there it is. That's what we're dealing with. And have I told you it's the Radiant Tarot? I can't remember if I have. As I say, it's all arts and crafts going on here. My memories and my mind is all over the place. Radiant Tarot on a tarot table for this one. Signifier for the year. We've got the Hanged Man, and it is in reverse. Hanged Man in reverse. And this is someone who's gained some enlightenment along the way. Someone who is being freed, liberated somewhere along the way as well. You can interpret that in quite a few different ways. I'm going to leave that open-ended. I'm going to leave that for you to interpret. But there is a sense of liberation in that energy. There is a sense of enlightenment and all those kinds of things. So it can be read in a very positive way. It can be read in a not so positive way. As I say, I'm going to leave you to pick your way through that card yourselves. And we're going to move on to the actual reading now. As I'm losing my voice, oddly, need to stop and have a little cough. And we're back. And first of all, we're going to look at his connection with the public in the coming year. The monarchy is certainly going through a tough time. And there's been a lot of criticism of King Charles, both in the way he's handled family incidents, problems, and also in the way he's handled things going on in the UK itself. A lot of people have clamoured for the monarchy to intervene and really asserts itself in some very difficult situations that are going on in the UK. So let's see how's it going to go year ahead. We got the Page of Wands. That is not very dramatic and dynamic energy. It's messaging the Page of Wands in a positive way. So I think there will be some programs that look good and people will approve of. it's not giving me any serious and dramatic kind of changes or developments in terms of his relationship with the public, where people are going to really hate him or really be very impressed or find that their lives have been improved by things that he's done. It's small stuff, the Page of Wands. It's small news, it's small announcements, it's small trips. He might make some quite local journeys. Obviously he does all the time as king. I'm talking about out of the country, small forays here and there, but there's nothing dramatic there. There's nothing terribly negative. There's also nothing really earth-shattering in that Page of Wands. I think it's business as usual kind of energy in terms of the public perception of him. He's not wildly popular. He's never going to be wildly popular, is the thing that most comes through that Page of Wands for me. And it's got a bit of spin in it. Let's not forget the Page of Wands can represent spin. And Charles, we know, is something of a past master to the art of spin, PR. So let's move on to the next question, which is siblings, Prince Andrew, obviously. So, sorry, not Prince Andrew, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, Old Habits Die Hard, King of Swords in reverse. He's, the King Charles, is going to maintain his very stern attitude to Andrew. That's out. Andrew is out with that King of Swords in reverse. That's the problem has been cut out of the royal family. It's been dealt with. It's been dealt with quite brutally, coldly, clinically with that King of Swords in reverse, and it's done. It will not be undone. I'm getting a slight energy with that King of Swords coming through that this is possibly something that Prince Philip would have done. I don't know if that is true and what we've ever heard in that sense, but I'm getting the sense of this is more the kind of conduct, the kind of actions that King Charles's father, Prince Philip, would have done rather than his mother, the late Queen. So that's interesting that that has come through, but it's done, it's dealt with as far as can be. A little bit of Jeffrey energy in that card as well, air sign energy, the Jeffrey energy in there, that lasting stain over that situation, King of Swords in reverse as well. So it's quite a multi-layered card for me, reading the energy of that card. Let's move on to the sons. Prince William first. Charles's relationship with Prince William is quite volatile. We hear good things and we hear not so good things in terms of competition and jealousy and frustration and anger and all that kind of stuff. So how's it going to go going forward? We've got the Six of Swords. That means that they're traveling into a more peaceful phase of their relationship. There's been conflict, and we know that there has been conflict because I think the Andrew situation was dealt with in a rather ineffectual way for a long time, and then suddenly all changed, and that we assume, we believe, was because of Prince William really laying down the law to par himself. But Six of Swords is transition into a more peaceful environment, putting your past conflicts behind you, finding calmer, going into a calmer phase. The transition can be other kinds of transition as well. The Six of Swords, without banging on about those kinds of transitions, it is there in the energy. Just saying, without actually saying, you can read between the lines. Let's move on. I don't want to dwell on too much negativity here today. Let us move on to Harry, the problem child. Well, they both potentially have issues with their father, Harry, and the King's dealings with Harry in the coming year. We've got the moon. There's the problem. Fear, confusion, doubt, worry. It's mostly coming through as worry, what to do. It's a very beautiful depiction of the moon. I don't use these cards very often because they're more celebratory, which is why they're out for a birthday reading. Even if this birthday reading has got some quite negative energy in it, Hierophant in reverse, let's not forget. So I'm not that familiar with them, the artwork of them, let's say. Very lovely depiction of the moon. And it's, I think, worry is the strongest energy that's coming through there, of wondering about his mental state, wondering about how well adapted he is to his life in California, what's going to happen to him in future, what about his children, what about shadiness that is kicking around. There's already shadiness that's been exposed allegedly with the court case, Harry's last court case against Associated News, and the star witness, the key witness that has withdrawn his evidence from the case because he made it all up. Terrible look for a prince of the realm to be involved in something like that. There's a lot in there. There is a lot about mental health. There's a lot about concern and worry and confusion and fear and secrets and shadiness and all of that kind of stuff. There is the real problem. The Andrew one has been dealt with. William going into a more peaceful time. Harry, ongoing concern, big concern in the coming year for the king. And I think it's a make or break year for their relationship and also for Harry's relationship with the royal family and for Harry's future. If the future involves the UK in any way, this is the critical year coming up. 2026 will be make or break for that. Let's look at the really tricky thing, health. First of all, the health question, which would be the 6th house. How's that? Just generally, oh dear, okay. It's kind of a surrender energy in that 10 of Swords, that it's done. And I'm not surprised to see a card like that there. It's a very visual, it's quite upsetting, quite devastating to be faced with that kind of energy. Whatever you think of him, and I know there are people who have some compassion for him, and there are people who really can't stand him out there in the world, but that 10 of Swords is a very difficult card. It's being overwhelmed by illness and ending. So moving on to the 8th house now. This card would represent the 8th house, which is mortality, dealing with change. 8th house, the Scorpio house. So there we are. His own house, basically. How's he handling that kind of, those kinds of thoughts, dealing with that kind of transition, judgment? Yeah, he's okay with it. He's welcoming it. It actually feels like quite a release and quite a blessing. It's interesting. It's got a symbolism of new life. Judgment has that sense of transitioning to a more blessed realm. And he's a very spiritual man, I think. Has always been open to some quite esoteric ideas, and certainly as someone who's very in tune with nature and cycles, things like that, who'd be okay with the closing of one chapter and opening of an entirely different chapter. There's a sense in that judgment of a kind of a forgiveness and a kind of reconciliation, and it's not escaping my notice. It's sitting right next to the moon card, and we know who the moon represents mostly. That, of course, is the king's late wife, Diana, who was there most certainly in the spirit world. This is a Scorpio card, judgment, Pluto energy. So there they sit side by side, and I think there is some sense of some kind of reconciliation, some kind of forgiveness in the afterlife that's reading here. These are two huge cards. The moon and judgment sitting side by side in this tarot reading. So, how about his marriage? There's been a lot of gossip about things going awry in the relationship in the past year or so, or even a bit longer than that. So what's the status quo there? Let's ask that question. That would be the 7th house. And we've got the Page of Swords in reverse. There is the gossip and the chatter. Rumours, I would say there are rumours there. Apparently are some quite salacious rumours going around. I would say there is a problem there. They might not be seeing eye to eye about things, having disagreements about things, keeping to their own selves, a bit suspicious of each other at some level, almost with that Page of Swords. It's not comfortable energy. It's not where you would like a couple to be, particularly in this final phase of life. I'm going to say it like that because it is. Every card on this table is telling me that, unfortunately. So Page of Swords in reverse, just gossip going around about them. Whether founded or unfounded, who knows? I should imagine there are going to be some quite interesting tell-all books that come out in the next few years that will reveal what's behind Page of Swords in reverse kind of energy. I don't really feel like picking over it now, raking over it. It doesn't seem appropriate given the very somber tone of the rest of the cards on this tarot table. So let's look at the monarch, monarchy itself, the king himself, 10th house, leadership role, high status in the sort of culmination of a life's work, really, that 10th house, in terms of your elevation and your role in the world, what's going on there. Got 5 of Wands. It's not going to be easy. He's going to be embroiled in conflicts whether he likes it or not. It can be conflicts with advisors, because it's internal conflicts, often the 5 of Wands within a team. So people saying you should do this, and then others say no, you can't do it like that, you've got to do something else. Those kinds of conflicts can be conflicts with the government, could be conflicts with the people as well, could of course be conflicts with his sons, his family, his wider family. It's difficult energy. A lot of squabbling, a lot of squawking, a lot of shouting, a lot of jostling for position in that 5 of Wands, which is interesting. Of course, there is a king in waiting in the wings, who's probably quite impatient to get stuck in and do what he wants to do. I'm not getting a sense of that being particularly Prince William's energy, just by the way. I don't think it's really that. If anyone's causing trouble, it's much more likely to be Prince Harry. And that kind of squabble that might make his life quite difficult and might reflect quite badly on the monarchy itself, because there's going to be conflict around it, what to do with the has-been. If the has-been is cut loose by herself or tries to cut himself loose and rush back to Britain or wherever he decides to seek safe haven, Canada, New Zealand, Africa, wherever. But that's uncomfortable energy there. These are the big cards for me. This is a very telling collection of cards on this tarot table. I don't want to dwell on it anymore. That is the reading, and thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.